Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday evening, which means it's time for us to talk about coping with life. And in particular, I know that you all like this broadcast. This is where we play with food. We've got some fun things to play with today. Let me see if I can show you what I've got here. It's quite a. It's how many things can I upset while I'm doing that? We have got, let me think, over here, we've got a really good idea for a dessert that is not altogether unhealthy. I want to talk a little bit more about sodium, so that's why I've got these here. This is our no-bake breakfast snack, and Halloween candy. Happy Halloween, everybody. And, it's just like, I know it's Halloween on Sunday, but we can celebrate it now. Now, if I can get through all of this, it'll be a miracle. But I'm going to try, and we'll see how we do. All right. So let me first of all start off with the sodium continuation of that discussion. I was talking last week about how we need to be careful of sodium if we're going to protect our livers. And the reason for that is two of my viewers are suffering from liver issues that really, even though they had regular tests, they're both people that have tests all the time, it wasn't showing up on their regular tests. So what that made me realize is we all need to be more careful about our livers. And what do we need to do? Reduce our sodium. So last week I did a whole stack on sodium, but I've got a bit more just before we start because, this has become an obsession with me. Hi there, Jeannie, Jody, Sharon, and everybody else that's watching. All right, so first of all, for this I need my glasses. But there were some pretty horrific findings that I got this week. Basically, if it's in a can, it's pretty nasty, is what I've discovered. These are some peanuts, and the sodium in the peanuts, 4%. But what I realized was these are salted peanuts. So think about that. If you buy salted peanuts and you want to reduce the sodium, would you agree that it's not a bad idea to rinse them off before you eat them? Take the sodium off them. That's what salt is, right? That's the sodium. So, just literally rinse if you've bought them and they're already salted and you want to reduce the sodium so you can eat more, rinse them off, let them dry, and enjoy them. All right, now what's your guess in terms of this is, Campbell's soup, not advertising for anybody, but Campbell's soup, what percentage of your daily sodium do you think is in this can? And I'm not going to just think about it. Don't need you all to participate in this, but just think about it in your mind. And would you be surprised to hear 37%? Doesn't mean you can't eat it. Just be aware when you're eating stuff out of a can that you're eating a lot of sodium. And I think they must need sodium in the can to preserve it or something. Right, now I found this when I was in the dollar store, and I thought I'd try it. It's rustic beef barley, and we're going to do some experiments with it next week. Sodium content is 26% for every 1 cup. So, mind you, this isn't even condensed. All right, so if you think about it, this has got less sodium in it than the cream soup. Then I had a look at what about something like, hang on, let's think about, this is a little can of Vienna sausages, cocktail sausages. Very nice for a quick protein snack, I thought. But for half a can, no, 3 sausages, and I think there are about, how many in here, does it say? I've got a feeling there are at least 9 in there. But just for 3 sausages, it is 19% of your daily allowance of sodium. So if possible, rinse them off before you eat them as well, will probably help lower that. Chef Boyardee. This is my go-to when I can't be bothered. And I probably eat one of these cans about once every 2 months. And to my horror, I found out 53% of my daily allowance of sodium is sitting in one can. Well, that's good to know. And that's probably why it tastes so good, right? But now I know. Now I'm thinking about using it differently. And I'll talk to you about that as I do what we're doing. Then I thought, well, maybe I need to move. Yeah, I know, Sharon. It's eye-popping, isn't it? Yeah. So this is why I want to thank Jody for allowing me to talk about this. Then I thought about, what about tinned fish? This is wild crab. Not something I have a lot of, but occasionally I like to get one of these and mix it up with some mayo and coleslaw or something and make a salad. I'm surprised only 10%, but then look at the size of the can. All right. Yeah, Rinsky's asking me, salt is a big thing with liver, question mark. My dad recently passed of liver cancer. They said he wasn't a candidate for getting liver cancer. I always wondered, maybe it had to do with salt. Well, that's what we're finding out. I've been, doing a lot of research into this. So I'm no doctor, but if we can limit our salt intake, it will help our livers a great deal. So think about that. This is only 10%. I can eat the whole can. So therefore, what about flakes of ham in a can? All right? Flakes of ham into a can. So here we go. What would your guess be? Do you think it's the same as crab or less? This one's ham, this one's crab. Think about that. This one was, what did we say, 10%? Come on, Sal. You found it once, you can find it again. Yeah, 10%. The ham, just so you know, is 21% for the same size can. All right. So, Jeannie, thank you. I'm going to hang on. Just remind me as soon as I finish this segment. Then I thought about, well, what about, I always keep a can of ham, tinned ham, in my pantry just in case. In case there's a power outage for 2 or 3 days and I can't get meat. I've always got a can of ham. 37%. So therefore, but again, is it the liquid in which they store it is what I'm wondering. So we'll look more into that. But I still believe I will always keep a can of ham for that very reason. All right, so that's that done. The next thing we're going to do, hopefully, is fun, but let me talk to this thing. Jeannie was quite inspired by my conversation recently about the fact I keep all my little scraps at the end of vegetables and stuff, and I keep them in my fridge in a bottle, and then every time I want soup, I huck them in and add them to the soup that I'm making. Jeannie said she took the end of a chicken stew, added a bit of tomato sauce and some water, and turned it into a most wonderful soup. So that's what we're thinking about. How do we make our food go farther? Things we would normally throw away, let's not do that. Let's use them intelligently. It will dramatically save your grocery bill. So a lot of what I'm about to show you is about stuff I've got in the fridge. By the way, I don't know if you've got this, but over here, and you can't see it, I have a list of things to use up, things I've noticed I've got too much of, and it's time for it to get used up, all right? And on that list at the moment are asparagus, the ends of, when I cut the ends of asparagus, I freeze them. I don't throw them away, I freeze them. And then when I'm making soup, stews, whatever, I add them. So that's one thing, asparagus. Bean sprouts. I opened a can of bean sprouts. And we're going to use that, some of that today. So I'm going to show you. Oh, my list, leeks. I've got a lot of leeks at the moment. And I've got some baked beans that I need to use up. So, very good idea to have a list so you remind yourself, if you've got to add something, can you add one of those things you're trying to minimize on? I have the whole of this freezer. I'm not joking. It is full. 2 drawers of it. And nearly all of it is vegetables, which is why I'm making sure I make soup every day. Hi there. Irinsky's saying, wow, Sal, your kitchen looks beautiful. Well, we're pleased to see you again, honey. It's just like, but thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So now then, how many of you be interested in a go-to breakfast snack that tastes great and keeps you filled up? And really, it tastes like you should not be enjoying it because you should be feeling guilty. Do you know what I mean? It tastes that good. I must admit, I tried this during the week just to see if I could make something that was healthy-ish, easy to grab hold of, and enjoyable. And I made 6 of them. And I finished one yesterday, and I was really quite upset this morning when I couldn't go and get one. And then I thought, but I'd be making more tonight. Yay! So the first thing you need would be something in which you are going to make them, not cook them. Hi, Megan. Good to see you. Hi there. And what I do, I'm going to just lower the camera a bit here so you can all see. Of course, I can't see, but you can. All right. So here, I'm going to use that in a second. What I make mine in is a muffin tray, and I've got these silicone reusable cupcake things. I want to tell you, I absolutely swear by them. They are so easy to use. I actually, just a tip for you, when you go to wash them, turn them inside out like that and put them in the dishwasher inside out. All right. And then they clean up much better than if you put them in the dishwasher this way, but they do go in the dishwasher. I don't like working hard. You know that. So what do we need? We're going to have 2 components. And I'm going to let you, as usual, do a lot of choosing here. So here we go. How about we are going to make these, and they're going to have chocolate either at the top or at the bottom. So you get to choose. Vote now. Do you want to have your treats where you pick them up, and when you pick them up, the chocolate section is at the bottom, or do you like to see the chocolate on the top? First 3 people, I'm going to take that as the consensus. Ready, steady, go. Now, the reason I need to know that, because it will depend how we make these. So, there we go. I need one more. Dum, 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 dum. Just, 3 out of 3. All right, so here we go. Everybody wants chocolate on the bottom, which means when we make them, the chocolate needs to be at the top. Do you agree? Because when we turn them upside down, we want the chocolate to be at the bottom. So we need to put the good stuff at the bottom and then put the chocolate on top of that. Are we all clear on that? Or do I need to draw that? All right. Now, just to remind you, you remember I told you that horror story when we had that heat wave here? I had all my good chocolate sitting high up in a cupboard, and of course heat rises. And I want to tell you what happened to the really good chocolate that I had up there. It ended up looking like this. Now, Would you throw that away if you saw it? Probably. Would I? Oh, no. It's just chocolate that has been melted and then got solidified again. So what I did, just so you know, is I cut it up a little bit and then I put it in my blender until I've now got chocolate bits, and I have white chocolate or dark chocolate. And you get to choose whether we're going to have white chocolate or dark. This is, I think, milk chocolate type stuff here. And this is white chocolate here. So you get to choose. But first of all, we're going to make the stuff that goes inside. Yum, 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 yum. Where's my big bowl? No, I need that one. Okay, I can use it later. I can rinse it out or not. All right, here we go. So what I'm going to do here, I've got just a regular Pyrex, and I have got some granola that I need to use up. And this is 5-grain granola, so we know it's pretty healthy. And it's 5-grain with almonds. So we're going to huck some in. By the way, if you're new to the broadcast, please know that I do not measure things. I just make a plan. Yeah, life's for living. If I had to measure all this, I'd go insane. That's not who I am. So, do you understand? You get yourself some granola. Happy? The next thing we need is, we're going to need this to bind together, but we can't put an egg in there because we're not going to cook it. So what I'm going to do is, we know that honey is good for us. It is a anti-inflammatory. So we're going to put some honey in there. There we go. That well-known measurement, some. And you've got to, you get to choose in your life what you want to put in. You can put in peanut butter. I found something that's really special. Or I think it is anyway. Hang on, I'm just going to wipe that up. This thing is leaking oil here. Okay, now I don't know if you have this in your part of the world, wherever you live, but it's called fatso. I'm not getting paid, people. And it's a crunchy salted caramel. How many of you know that's got my name written all over it? And it's still... Now, the reason that I'm having a problem is it has a lot of palm oil in it. And I just want to tell you what's in it so you guys know. The ingredients are peanuts, peanut pieces, organic coconut oil, tapioca fiber, pink Himalayan salt, avocado oil, chia seeds, ground flax, and medium chain triglyceride oil, and natural sorted caramel flavor. Now, I think you'll agree that on the whole, that's not an unhealthy mix of stuff. And it is the oils that you hear that are giving me a problem at the moment, because I had it turned upside down. The reason I turn it upside down is so that the oils can distribute a little bit. But I didn't do that early enough. Now I've got oil everywhere. All right, so here we go. We're going to huck some in there. Now we better check what the sodium is. I think we might need a little bit more than that. We need enough to hold the dry ingredients together. Okay, that probably will do it. So good. If you like salted caramel, it is awesome. I want to show you just how much oil there is here. Glasses. So there we go. Now, again, think about this. How many of you would throw that away? Or I'm going to be cooking up some stuff tomorrow, and I will probably use that oil to cook with. Makes sense? Why not use it? Why keep throwing stuff away? All right, I'm going to get a fork, big one. And we're going to mix that up a little bit. Now, while I'm doing that, we got to think, let's add some fruit in there. Or maybe we should just add different fruits into each one. What do you think? Shall we make different flavored ones? That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? So what I'm looking for is enough to hold this together. I think I'm going to throw some regular peanut butter in there just to add. And I've got a little bit left in there, so let's tuck that in as well. Sodium, 3%. It's pretty good. What was it on the other one? This one was 7%. So it's twice as much as the regular one, but it's got lots of good more stuff in it. Okay, so we're going to mix that up. All right, so you get the idea. It's now sort of pretty got the idea? I can see that there are comments there that I can't read. Let me just have a look what the comments are. Jody's saying, I see you're the queen of making use of every last bit of a product. Well, I'm learning to do that, Jody. I'm busy going, I want to be the role model for you when you realize how much food we waste, really just waste. And if you're, we know inflation is going up, which means that we're going to have less money to spend. Let's work on how we can do it in a good, better way. All right, are you ready? So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to put a little bit in each of these cups. So 1 spoon in there, spoon in there, spoon in there, spoon in there. Behave yourself. Now I've got enough to make more, but I'll hold on to that and make some more tomorrow. Because they definitely did not go to waste this week. I was very happy with them. Okay, a little bit like this. All right, got the idea, everyone? Just tuck it down. Now then, we'll put that. Hold on 1 second. I know that's way too big for the amount that's in there, but I'll sort that one out when I've got more time. Okay, and now I can put that in the fridge. And now we're going to make them, put a little bit of fruit in them. Okay, let me see what's being said here. Jeannie's saying, looks great, but I cannot eat things with nuts or nut products. Okay, so don't have them. So find something that you can mix it with that will help it stick together, that you don't need to cook, that doesn't have nuts in it. I'm not sure. That would be an interesting experiment. Let me know what you find, Jeannie. All right, so, and you're right, so many foods do use almond oil and peanut oil as well. All right, so now what I'm going to do is, because we've now got, we've got some oats in there, we've got some, this has got some almonds in there, and, what I thought I would do is make a mixture of fruits. All right, so we'll put in a prune, because prunes are good for us. And why don't we put in some cranberries, Jody? Cranberries, anti-inflammatory, am I right? Just correct me where I'm wrong, Jody. Okay, so we've got some prune in there, we've got some cranberries. Let's put in, oh, I got some dates. Jody, I know dates are good for us. Could you remind me why? Let's put in a couple of dates. These haven't got any pips inside them. And while we're doing that, I'll just grab one. Make sure. No, they're fine. Then de-pitted. We like that. I've got some dried cherries, not many, but a few. Huck those in. Oh. Now let us raisins. We know they're good for us. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, no. Oh, by the way, antioxidant for the cranberries. Thank you, Jody. In here, I keep leftovers. So in here, I've got some leftover cereal. I've got some leftover white chocolate, or all stuff you can add. All right. So let's just put in a little bit of the cereal. There we go. And we'll put in a little bit of the white chocolate just into the mixture. Why not? Sounds good to me. I'm going to put chocolate on top anyway, but there we go. This is about having fun. The child in you should be really happy. Dates are high in fiber and antioxidants. I thought it was a good thing, Jody. Thank you. All right, now then. Here. Okay. Okay, so I just roughly chopped them up, nothing too serious. And I'm just going to drizzle them on top. A little bit on each. So I'm going to have, it tastes good, people. I think I got too much in there. I haven't got room for the, okay, we're back to plan A. That's okay. That's what half the fun is for me. Okay, we're going to mix this all in together. But now we know we've got the right amount because we measured it that way. Oops. Okay, mix it up again. Where's my big fork? Right. And let's do this bit again. Now, what I love about making these is the fact that there's so many different things you can do with it, add to it, make it more and more enjoyable. Let me remind myself not to overfill these. Okay, needs a little bit more. Little being the word so, not whole. Right, so my suggestion is when you fill them up, then bash it down, okay? So fill it, really make sure it's all bound together. Do a bit more in there. Okay. All right, pretty easy so far, everybody. So just so they look like that, let me see what the comments are before I carry on. Judy's asking me where I do most of my shopping. I do most of mine at Save On, quite honestly. The nearest, I did check, Jeannie, the nearest Whole Foods is about 35 minutes away from me. And, it's not close. All right, so here we go. We've done this. So the next thing is we're going to put this away. Now, you could also, what else could we have put in there? We understand that Jeannie would have a problem, but I'm thinking coconut. If you like coconut, you could have added coconut. Get creative as to what you can put in there. You could put some fresh apple if you wanted to. So just think about that. All right, what do you think? Should we do half with white chocolate and half with dark? All right, let me see what I can do here for you. So remember that they've all got some salted peanut butter in them, and that's going to taste really good. I always keep a broken sort of plastic thing for doing chocolate in. I don't know about you guys. So let's start with the white chocolate. And the trick about doing this is you can use those chocolate chips that you buy, or whatever chocolate you want to do it with. So all I'm going to do is put some chocolate in there like that. And what I recommend is do not use the microwave for more than 30 seconds on the first batch, all right? Like this. And I've got a 30-second timer on mine, which helps. I'm getting hungry just doing this. Such fun. I still can't get over the fact that this plum sauce, Jody, is only 1%. And it's got so many good things in it as well. So I'm definitely going to be using more of that. All right, now if you look at it, it doesn't look like it's melted at all, but just make sure, just move it around, it's warming up. The chocolate, it's so easy to overcook it, right? So just mix it up, even though it doesn't look like anything has happened. And then put it in for another 30 seconds. Oh, that's a good idea. Jeannie's saying that she thinks she can use cream cheese instead of peanut butter. You see, that's why I love to do these things and have these, I can't use that, because then we get creative. What a good idea. Because the cream cheese, if you softened it a bit before you mixed it up, then what you end up doing is it will then solidify when you put it back in the fridge once you've made it. Good idea. And a good choice, in terms of, yeah, that's beginning to do its thing now. Not much, but it's doing it. Remember, slowly when you're dealing with chocolate. All right, it's beginning to clump up, which is a good sign. Another 30. And this looks like hard work until you accidentally burn some chocolate. Rinsky's saying, I've heard it's bad to heat up plastic. Is that true? Probably. And quite honestly, I would normally do it in here. But as I realized I was going to have two different colors, I didn't. But yeah, I think you could be right on that. Certain plastics, anyway. Thank you for mentioning it. Right, you can see now it's starting to, there we go. You see now that it's become just about come chocolate, but there still looks a bit grainy. So I'm going to put it in for another 20. Good. We're going to need another spoon. Jeannie's saying she could also use her peach jam. All right, so there we go. That's better. Can you see that now? I've got very nice. What did that take? It took 2 minutes altogether. And now all I'm going to do is spoon that on top. About a spoon on each of the ones, maybe a spoon and a half. Because we've got 3 that are going to be white chocolate. Any of you ready to eat these yet? Be careful when you taste the chocolate. Could be hot. Okay. But that's half the fun, right? And then all I do, oh, sorry, people. Then all I do is I just move it from the center to the sides. Okay? So here it is from the center to the side. Basically, just to spread it out. And then I just tap it down. There it goes. Pretty darn easy. And then once I've done that, I just knock it like this, and it'll help just even it out, get any air bubbles out. All right, let's do the same with the dark chocolate. No, Sal, that doesn't go on there. I took one off, so it's got to be here somewhere, people. Wait, there we go. Okay. So now on this one, let's take the milk chocolate, I think it is. Okay, and some. We're going to do the same thing. This time I'm going to do it a minute the first time, because we now know it takes about 2 minutes. Now, in the meantime, would you like to have some nuts in the chocolate? Because this would be a good time to do that. And, you know, it would be... Yeah, it would be your choice. I've got some mixed nuts here. So what I thought I would do is just huck some in here. And what's the mix? The mix here are almonds, cashews, Brazil nuts, hazelnuts, pecans, some canola oil, and some salt. So again, you know, you might want to just rinse the salt off. But what I'm going to do is just crush these up a bit. That's good. This is that's started to melt quite well. Maybe because the microwave is hot already. So we'll put it in for another 30. I just want to get a different blade on there. That's good. There we go. Probably not enough, but enough to show you how to make it. Okay, so again, there we go. See this? So you want it so that it's pretty well constituted into, it flows easily, I think, with the way I describe it. So now we're just going to pour a little bit on there. Spread it around. Oh, yes, you can see. Okay, good. Oh, I didn't do that one. All right, so then we'll take, now you don't have to add the nuts, it's just another healthy option. Nuts are good protein. So I'm just going to sprinkle some on there. Good. Good. And then just pat the nuts into the chocolate. Oh, yeah. Because what we want is the chocolate to hold onto the nuts. Now remember, this is chocolate that most people would have thrown away, and I'm making sure that it still has good use. I'm using leftover bits of everything. All right, so now, got the idea? And now what I'm going to do is just put it in the fridge. If I can find room. Now, I'm not 100% sure that they will be ready by the time we finish the broadcast, but if they are, we'll test one. If they are, that would be great. But if they're not, then what I will do is let them solidify properly, other than the one I will test. And then I'll take a picture so that you can see it later. This is the joy of cooking. You know, it's the reason I enjoy the Friday evening broadcast. I get to enjoy this. All right, so let's put these away because we're done with those. And thank you for your patience. From experience, I found out taking this little bit of time just to soak a couple of things before I move on makes all the difference when it comes to cleanup later. Peanut oil. Awesome. I'll be cooking with that tomorrow. Let's put that away. I don't need that. I'll rinse these out. I need the water. And I want to tell you the difference that I found is if I just take the time to do that, it probably will take me an hour to do cleanup at the end of this. If I don't do it, it takes me sometimes until the next day to get it all cleaned up. Isn't that amazing? Because it's all on so heavily that it needs a lot of work to get, sometimes 2 loads of the dishwasher to get it clean. Okay, let's get the bits off there and we can move on to the next thing. Now, again, remember, I just did this once in the week, right? And that's now got 6 days of treats. Quite honestly, not a lot of work, even though it might have looked like it, it really wasn't. And what I discovered is that the treats are really filling. And so you're not going back for snacks after you've had one of those, which for me is a really good idea. Now then, oh, I was going to add, and I could have added, this is, I keep the bottom of my, whenever I use cereal, all right, there's always that crud at the bottom. I hang on to that. All right, and I will add it to my bread that I'm making, or I could have added it in there, but I have plenty of other stuff in there. The question is, could you make your own granola? Absolutely. It is as easy to make as you have choices. Now, the next thing I wanted to show you was really very simple. And again, easy to make, but not too dangerous on the body. And what I'm going to do is just take 1 cup . Okay, so we got 1 cup of water. I'm going to put it in the microwave for 3 minutes. And then I'm going to take a packet of Jell-O. Now you can use, sugar-free Jell-O or regular. All right, so it's up to you. This happens to be sugar-free, but it's absolutely up to you as to what you use. I'm sorry to hear that. Jeannie's saying that she's still having troubles with electricity in her kitchen. That sounds like, something, Jeannie? I'm sorry to hear that because that's dangerous. But I literally, Jeannie had a fire in her house and she's trying to get, she's back in, but trying to get things sorted out. As I think I told you, Jeannie, it took me 6 months to get back into my house. It's taken me 7 months to get the deficiency sorted out. So, I think you were prepared that things were not going to go 100% right. I only got the drawers fixed in my vanity. They did that today, and I'm still waiting for a blind. I'm still not finished. But yeah, it's horrible. But, as long as you can get it sorted out, that's the main thing. Concentrate on the end result. It would be my recommendation, Jeannie. I kept saying to myself, it's not far away now. It's going to be finished pretty soon. Now, this is a really simple idea, this. And I think Jell-O is an underrated dessert. It's really good for you. Gelatin is good for you, Jody. Builds nails and bone mass, I think. And so think about how often do you eat Jell-O? Maybe include it a bit more often. right? Because it's a nice little snack and you don't have to be too worried about it. Now, what I've also got here that I'm busy opening up while I'm waiting for the water to boil is a couple of tubs of applesauce. Now, you could do stewed apples, but I would drain them if you're going to do them. This is a really good thing for weight loss as well. All right, so here we got, that's now a cup of applesauce that instead of putting more water in, I'm going to put applesauce in. But before I do that, I'm going to take the hot, now boiling water and put the Jell-O mixture in and make sure it's pretty well mixed in. Really hard work, this. I don't know about you guys, but I always check the bottom to see what it is. This is no sugar Jell-O. So there is no sugar in this one. You can buy no sugar added Jell-O. So it's up to you. All right, so now I'm going to put in the applesauce. And this is no sugar added applesauce. And then just stir that all in together. All right, so Jody is reminding us that there's a lot of sugar in regular Jell-O, but this is sugar-free Jell-O. And Brinsky is saying, I hate it when that happens, Jody. It seems... Okay, what is this then? All right, Sharon's asking, have you ever made apple dumplings using crescent rolls? No. I'm going to try them tomorrow for a family party. It's funny you should say that. Next week, I'm going to play with dough, pastry dough. We're going to make pasties, to use up stuff, and some dessert. So in answer to your question, no. All right, so there we go. Can you see now? It's sort of like a funny looking mixture. It looks a bit like what? I don't know. It just doesn't look like it's ever going to work, all right? Tastes good. And what I'm going to do, you know these containers, I don't throw those away. Here they are ready for my desserts. All right, so I'm just going to see how many we can fill up. 4, I would think. So if you think about it, maybe a 5th one. Yeah, 4.5. Easy. In the fridge. So I've got 4 days worth of dessert, but luckily, I already have some made up. Now this I did with a berry, different berry type Jell-O, and I wanted to show you that it solidified beautifully. it looks like this. So it looks a bit like more. And quite honestly, you taste more of the Jell-O than you do the apple. Like, you really can't taste the apple too much. But easy dessert. Now, think about it. You could put these in glasses, and maybe put a little bit of fruit and then some English custard on top, otherwise known as trifle. But very simple. I should not have started eating this. All right. So, Jeannie, if you would care to send me that recipe, I will gladly demonstrate it next week. If I can get hold of the dough. I prefer to make my own dough, so. All right, here we go. Nice, easy little dessert and healthy. What did we say? Let me just see here. Jody, I'm certain you found it for me, but Jell-O, I think. Okay, let me see how, in terms of a quarter of a cup, 10 calories, 6% of your daily allowance of sodium. All right, so nice and easy. All right. But what surprised me, it's great to have dessert every night. You know, I'm trying to find, as you know, even though I'm trying to lose weight, I am losing weight. Even though I'm losing weight, even though I'm trying to watch my sodium, I don't think it means I have to stop eating things. It means I need to find out what can I eat. I'm a great believer, what can I eat, not what can't I eat. And I have dessert every single day. It's my sort of, I am prepared to go without, food at different times of the day just so I can have dessert in the evening. It to me, it's like part of I'm a human if I can eat dessert. And it's a funny thing. I had reason when I was in South Africa to be in a hospital. And it was a private hospital. And every evening, and you won't believe this, every evening they served dinner with wine and a dessert. And I remember saying to them, this has got to be the best hospital food I've ever had. But, why? And they said, psychologically, if you see that you are well enough to drink wine and have dessert, then you will actually recover more quickly. Does that make sense psychologically? Now, obviously, if they think that you are not capable of handling wine, a glass of wine, and by the way, you didn't have to have the wine, but I certainly didn't refuse it. But it really was. It was just, wow, I'm well enough to have wine. I can't be all that bad. So, made a really good point to me. Let's put this away. Any questions about making that? And can you see how easy it was? So think about it now in terms of the meal prepping I have done. I've got a breakfast bite for nearly every morning. I have got a dessert for nearly every night, or I can have one during the day. I just know I can have one of those every day. I can choose when I have it. And now I thought we'd do something that I made this week by accident, and I have to share it with you because it was so easy to do, and yet it tasted really amazing for the amount of work. I've got one of these bowls, and I really love it. what I did was I opened up a whole can of bean sprouts and realized the can had been in the pantry since we did the stocking up a year ago, or more than a year ago, and so it was time for me to use that can in rotation. So realizing that I could not eat all those bean sprouts, I froze most of them. All right. And now what I've been doing while we've been chatting is I just put one package of those bean sprouts, and I'm just going to drain them. So this is just one serving. Question, am I going to throw this away? Now, what I did was I decided to use bean sprouts instead of noodles or rice. All right, so this is a portion of bean sprouts, and I'm going to huck that in the bottom. And then I also happen to have a portion of spaghetti squash, and we'll drain that as well. This fine mesh sieve is very useful. Do you all have one? I think it's called a nut sieve or something, Jody. So that's just the water that came out of it being frozen. And it will be in my soup tomorrow. All right, so I'm going to put that in there. So now we've got bean sprouts, and some spaghetti squash instead of noodles or rice or anything like that. And I'm just going to mix them together. Yeah, it's really great. I use it all the time, Sharon. I'm glad that you like it. I think it's called a nut sieve. Jody is the expert on these things. All right, so can you see that that's now about a third of the way up? Okay, very simple. And now what I'm going to do is on top of that, remember, I'm trying to use up the asparagus. I've leeks I'm trying to get rid of. I've got some onion in there, some tomato, and they all came out of my freezer, but this I'm going to chop up a little bit before I put it in. I think I probably will only use a couple. That one. And the rest I will put in for the soup tomorrow. There we go. So that's asparagus used up. And put that in for the soup. And then I've got tomato, onion, and leeks. Onion and leeks are sort of the same type of thing, but I like those, so that's good. Just strain that as well. Okay, so now we've got onions, leeks, tomatoes. I'm going to add some fresh carrot. No, I don't need lettuce. So. Okay, some carrot. I thought some bok choy would be nice in there, and some celery. So we will two ways to do carrot. You can use a potato peeler and just do strips like that in there. I actually like to use this little gizmo that I've got, and that just really makes almost like julienne. Okay. And carrot. All right, I got some bok choy. Do any of you eat bok choy? Good night, Jeannie. Bok choy is like a Chinese cabbage, but I like to buy the baby one. It just really tastes so good. And what I'm going to do is just chop that up. Jody, I've got a feeling cabbage must be good for us, right? Am I going to throw away the bottom bit? No, it's going to go in for the soup tomorrow. And I'm going to keep these little bits and leave them whole, because that's great. As we know, cabbage will reduce in size as it cooks. So I've got about this much. I'm just going to rinse it off first. The other thing with bok choy is it doesn't take very long. It doesn't take very long to cook. So now that the carrot is this small, you know, these are very thin slices. That won't take long to cook. We know that the other vegetables are already partially cooked, so that's good. So I'm just going to dump that on top. Yeah, Jody's reminding me that the cabbage is super healthy. I try to add cabbage every day now, Jody. You're teaching me well. It's high in vitamin C and K. All right, so this is nice and colorful. We've got red, we've got green, we've got orange. We haven't got yellow. Well, we can do that. Maybe. We can. And I'm going to add a bit more red with some red pepper. And then I'm also going to add some yellow pepper. Now I know. And that's my thing now. It's got that many colors in it. It's pretty healthy food. Easy? Pretty easy, right? Now, I've got some, remember some weeks ago we did some chicken strips? Well, that's come up in rotation to be eaten. So I thought that's excellent. I'm just going to chop that on top. We know it's already cooked. I'm just going to make that into small slices. Jody, while I'm just doing this final bit, could you do me a big favor, honey? Could you check what is normally in a pad thai sauce? And I say normally because I won't have a lot of the ingredients, but we're just going to make our version of it. All right, so does this look like a pretty full meal? All right, it's going to condense down a bit as we cook it, but this is my one meal for the day. I haven't had other than taste testing here. I haven't had anything. So this is my one big meal for the day. So, and it doesn't have, it doesn't have rice in it. It doesn't have noodles in it. It's all pretty much vegetables with some chicken on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to warm this up. And this bowl has a top on it, so I'm just going to put the top on it and then give it a couple of minutes. Probably 3. And these are bits that I'm saving ready for the soup. All right, so pad thai normally has fish sauce, oyster sauce, brown sugar, tamarind. Yeah. So tamarind is like a curry powder thing, right? So what we're going to do is I will just throw in what I threw in for myself and understand. I was trying to get as close as I could to that sort of idea, not too worried about perfecting it. I have actually ordered up some of that sauce. By the way, I found out that I can halve these. Really good idea. Bok Choy is to, and I probably will do this for tomorrow, halve them and then put cheese over the top and grill them. Taste really good. And they also freeze. I halve them and freeze them. And then sometimes I will just go to the freezer and just take out one and crumble it over a salad or over something else. So really good. And the reason we know it's really good for you is the deep green of the leaves. Sorry. That means it's good. Oh, I forgot to put in the celery. Well, we'll use the celery as garnish over the top. How about that? So I'm just going to strip off the leaves and just chop them up. More green. Please remind me to put the garnish on top. Jody says, I am the queen of sauces. I can do what I like. So I was thinking, Jody, I do know that I've got sesame oil. That would sort of be a good idea, right? I don't want to use sugar. I've got curry powder, paprika, and chili powder. What do you reckon? And hot sauce. So we could use any of those. They all have a tang to them. Here we go. Jody, could you make a note to remind me to buy more? I actually did put the pad thai sauce on my list because I would like to get some. So we know that this plum sauce isn't too bad in terms of sodium or anything. So I'm going to start with some of the sesame oil. I'm going to put in some plum sauce. Okay, so that's sesame oil, plum sauce. I've got some mixed herbs here that are just herbs. Whenever I have some left over, I crunch them up. I'm going to put some of those in, add a lot of flavor. Oh, look at that. One of those. What else have I got? Oh, this is something, if you haven't ever tried it, Chinese 5 spices. What does it have in it? I've probably mentioned this to you before. Um, Fennel, coriander, star aniseed, cassia, and mandarin peel. Want to tell you, it's a no-brainer if you're having chicken. Little goes a long way, but get enough. Then I've got chicken, so I think the hot part of it I'm gonna make with paprika. Okay. And then I'm gonna mix that up. Yep. That is not altogether bad, people. For a quick, I think I put a little bit more of that oil in there because that definitely gave it a good taste. And it needs some pepper. Okay, and ginger. Who said that? Is. Great thinking, Is. Thank you. You know I've got it, people. Where is it? Cloves, mace, nutmeg, and pepper. Ground ginger. I've got a huge bag of it. All right. Did we say turmeric? It needs turmeric. Was that one of the ingredients? Did you say, Jody? Oh, tamarind. It was close. All right. So I've also found cayenne pepper. Thinking maybe a tad of that will be a good addition. I know that I should probably be measuring these things, but you've booked since when? Okay, and now what have we got? Some ginger. Thanks for that, Is. Good idea. Huck some of that in. Okay, so there's our sauce. Why do I want to put some lemon juice in there? Why? Or lime? What would you recommend? Leave it alone, salt. Okay, fine, got it. All right, so here we go. We're going to put that over the top. That's good. I'll garnish. Oh, sorry, guys. I garnish just a little bit of celery leaves. So how healthy is that? Think about how healthy is that. And what do you think it's going to taste like? And remember that it is leftovers with fresh vegetables. And even some of the vegetables are leftovers. They were in the deep freeze. How many of you going, are you going to taste it, Sal? I should get a picture of it first, right? Hang on. Very important. I keep forgetting to do this. Let me get a picture of it first. Then I will taste it for you, and then we will have a look at the other goodie. It's good. All right. Yum. So I've got not only different flavors, but also I've got the warm food and the cold food, which also adds to flavor. Oh, the bok choy is still crunchy, and I like that. The peppers will still be crunchy. I like that. But by the time I get to the bottom, do you understand? I constructed, sorry to talk with my mouth full. I constructed it in such a way that I've got soft foods, hard foods, harder foods. That sauce is awesome. Just that sauce just hit me. I'm going, oh, that's good. Of course, I could never repeat it, but that doesn't worry me. So, yep, this is definitely a do again, and healthy. Which means I will be having some treats later. Why? Didn't put any carbs into my meal. Yeah, these are not solidified yet, people. Oh, that's pretty good. That one's not bad. I might be able to get away with it. I'm going to just try one, just so you can get the idea. And then I will leave the rest in until probably much later tonight, or maybe even tomorrow. But I just want to show you. Now then, we've got to have a serious discussion, my friends. The question was, do you want the chocolate on the top or the bottom? Remember, this is the trick. This is what it looks like with the chocolate on top. But if you insist on having the chocolate on the bottom, just turn it over and it will look like this. Are any of you laughing? Now, I'm not going to eat into it. But you get the idea, right? And how simple was that? So I've got breakfast treats, granola treats for the week. I've got desserts for the week, and I've got dinner for this evening. And we did that in 1.5 hours. What do you think? and add the hour it's going to take me to clean up. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. What did you enjoy most? What was it that you were, yeah, I'm going to try that? Any of it? Excuse me while I continue to eat. You know I'm going to go and eat now. And next week we will play with pastries, just see what we can do to use up again. How do we make leftovers more interesting for ourselves and the people that we like? I'm hoping that Jeannie and or whoever else it was that was making the crescent roll thing, please send me that recipe and I will order up some crescent roll dough and then we'll try that next week. Or I will make some crescent roll dough. Yeah, what I realized, Jody, is that, oh, I forgot to add one thing with this. That's right. There was one more taste that I forgot. Peanuts. Very important, right? Yeah, it's interesting. Is it saying that she'd add some shallots on top? The shallots, or however you like to pronounce that. I actually would normally add a little bit of green onion, which I nearly did, and then I stopped myself for some reason. Okay, so here we go. So just going to add a little bit of green onion. Thank you for reminding me. A little bit of green onion on top. And of course, some peanuts. Now, I haven't rinsed the salt off these, but you agree that I could. And there we have it. And I'm going to go and eat it now. So, love you dearly. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. I had fun putting this together. I didn't think I'd be able to get all of them done in the time, but I did. I hope you can see there wasn't anything technical about any of it. When I say technical, what makes pad thai taste so good is the sauce. And, you know, I make my sauces on the fly, as you know. I just add in whatever I happen to have. And I love it. You know, and as I said, my biggest problem is when people say to me, "Oh, that sauce was so good. How did you make it?" Yeah, good question. Because I never remember. You know, it's just like, it's how I do things. And so every meal that you have at my house is original. You know, it's never a repeat one. But what I want you to see is this wasn't, requiring a lot of thought. It didn't require a lot of time or preparation necessarily. It's just stuff that, you can put it together. I actually want to tell you that Jello with applesauce in it tastes really nice. And I thought, you could put, fresh fruit on top, raspberries or something, and make it even more so, with a squidge of cream. Nobody would know that it's actually, a healthy dessert. So think about that. And nobody would know that this doesn't have noodles and stuff at the bottom, all right? Because by the time you get there, it's just the bean sprouts that you've already been eating. So I'm going to enjoy that. This is DearMamaSal saying thank you for being here with me. I hope you got a smile. I hope you enjoyed it. And let me know if you do want me to continue doing these little baking things and cooking things. Thank you for whoever it was that asked me, could I make a dessert, a no-bake bite, breakfast bite, because that's what I did. And I wouldn't have done it unless somebody had asked for it. I am not the world's greatest cook. I enjoy playing with food, like anything I do in life. Oh, before I go, for those of you who were with me at lunchtime, I've got to show you this. Can I show? Yes. I showed you these belts that I've got. Hang on. because I realized some of you were not here at lunchtime, but I've got these belts that go through the belt loops, and then you can just snap them back on themselves. So you haven't got to undo the belt if you go to the washroom. Yeah, it was Kez that wanted the no bake. Well, Kez, I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, so what I said was, what happens if you really do want it to do up like a belt? Because I realized a lot of my jeans do not have belt holders on them. And what I realized, Jody, and forgive me if this is embarrassing to anybody, it's a children warning, this could be gross. It's about to be my stomach. But what I realized, Jody, I had them all hanging on this circle. And the circle thing came with them. And I now know why. It's so you can turn it into a belt if you want to. Get the idea? And I thought, why didn't I realize it? I wondered why they included that round thing. And then I realized that's what it is. So you can actually use it as a regular belt. Clever. And so now I have got 5 belts, 4 or 5 belts, 5 belts, I think it is, and the centerpiece. I was actually thinking when I was talking to you at lunchtime, I was thinking about a shower hook. I would, wouldn't I? And then when I went to put them away, I saw that round disc and I went, wait a minute, that came with them. That's what I need. Bye, everybody. Enjoy your evening and your weekend. I'll see you on Sunday. And by the way, we've got a really fun thing coming up on Sunday. One of my viewers wrote to me and said, what is the criteria for being adult? Does the Amazon carpet work? Did I buy a carpet on Amazon? Which one? I've got so many things. Isabel, give me more information. Color? Which room? The shaggy ones? Oh, that one. Yes. Okay. So I can't go get it for you guys, but I can draw it for you so you understand. What Isabel's asking me about is outside on my deck, I have stairs coming up onto my deck. And if this is my deck, okay, here are the stairs. Right at the top of my deck, of the stairs, I have a mat. And underneath that mat, I have a special sensor. So when you stand on here, there is a wire that runs from here into my front door and then onto my side table here. So if anybody stands on that mat, it rings an alarm inside my house. It's called a sensor. And does it work? Yes. But you missed my best one at lunchtime today. Hang on. And I've got to tell you because you're going to love this. I'm going to repeat it just because the audience in the evenings is not the same as the one during the lunchtime broadcast. But my frustration was that I have a television in my living room area. I have a television in my bedroom. But what happens when I am in my craft room? If I want to hear the television, either of the televisions, I got to crank them up. And as I'm already pretty deaf, that would be pretty loud. So I've been working on what can I do? And then I found the answer.
The assistant director asks every department head.
This is from my television, 40 feet away in my bedroom.
Has not hand the gun to the actor.
A baby
That
monitor.
has not happened to me prison business ever. I've been on more shows with
So now I can work. I can actually, it clips on my belt if I wanted to. The battery lasts a long time. I can be in the craft room. It's so cool, really, Jody. I can be in the craft room and I can just have it as, going in the background, but I can hear if something important happens and then I can, make a plan. But I want to tell you, it is amazing. And I paid about $30 maximum for it. And I'm probably going to get another one for the front end of the house so that when alarms go off, that I can hear them in the center part of the house. That's how good it is. I'm really, really impressed. So there you go. I'm going to eat. Bye for now, people. Enjoy your weekend. I will see you on Sunday. Thanks, Jody.